Outcomes and objectives of innovation, or why do we have to innovate? Well, this is a logical question, or we need innovation. But let's look into this in a little bit more detail. So there are many reasons why innovation is important from the perspective of a company. And many CEOs or managers will tell you that their company really is under big innovation pressure and there's apparently big needs to innovate. Why is this? Well, there are many reasons. One is that demand is always changing. We talk about an increasing individualization of demand, the saturation of basic needs, and customers always want to have something new. The second and perhaps most important reason for many companies is the need for differentiation. And here we could talk about competitive advantage. Innovation is one of the core instances and vehicles to create competitive advantage, not just by having lower prices or higher quality, but by really providing a new value proposition to companies. And reasons why we need to differentiate more is what you all know, an increasing globalization or liberalization and deregulation in some markets. A very different reason is that we really want to improve the efficiency of our value creation processes. Some rare elements, some components are scarce. So innovation has a task to replace these components or rare elements by others that are cheaper or better available. We have different relations and prices of components. We have also changing values of employees. And if we have less employees available to do manual work, well, we have to innovate our processes to replace the scarcity of labor by robots or automated machinery. All these previous reasons were more what we call market pull. We had market situations that were pulling the demand for innovation. But there also is tech push, technology push, meaning we innovate because just it's possible. This is what often my engineering colleagues do for very good reasons. They come up with new technical solutions. They come up with new materials. Think of laser technology, biotechnology, microelectronics, new materials. These were basic technological advancements, inventions, that then in a second step found problems in a market that were just asking to be solved. So sometimes really the availability of a new technology is the reason for corporate innovation. And then finally, it's a society that demands to innovate. We have to care about our environment. We have different social needs. We talk about consumer safety. The European community, for example, has really a big emphasis on making the life of consumers more safe. And this is a big need for innovation to really achieve this. You will see there are many reasons why companies are under innovation pressure. The common theory, or let's say most established theory to explain this, is Schumpeter's theory of industrial development. And Schumpeter somehow was the first innovation management professor in modern life. And he said innovation from a perspective of the company, innovation is really like entrepreneurship. And it's the task of the entrepreneur to discover and explore new knowledge. He was talking about advances, differences in the information available to a firm. And this information could be about the supply side, new materials and so on, or about the demand side. I'm the first to have realized an open problem of customers. And so the perspective of innovation of Schumpeter was, if I'm able to bridge between information about the demand side and information about the supply side, and if I'm better able to bridge this in a better way or in an earlier way than my competitors, then I get competitive advantage and the reason for my company to exist. He called this the exploration of new combinations, and he called it innovator a creative destroyer of the status quo and replacing it by either new products or processes. And this perspective of innovation is very nicely illustrated by Michael Dell, whom you all know as the founder of Dell Computers. And even if we nowadays don't really consider Dell to be an innovative company, actually what Michael Dell created was the most successful business model innovation in the last decades. As Michael Dell really had the insight of not reinventing the computer, the Dell computers were more or less the same. But he came up with a very different way to manufacture these computers, mass customized on demand, to sell them via an online or telephone configuration process. So you really were bridging between the demand for computers and the supply of the components in a very novel way, and was a typical business model innovator setting up a disruptive business model for the rest of the computer industry, and at the same time he's a typical Schumpeterian innovator by really making these connections in a new way. Finally, let's look again into why innovation is important from the perspective of our society and economy at large. As you will hear that not just CEOs and managers talk about innovation, but also every politician. And again, the European community has even made a goal that they say, the so-called Lisbon goal, that say each of our member states has to invest at least 3.5% of our gross national product in innovation and knowledge creation, as it's so important for society. And why is this? Well, our capitalist society is built on the principle of continuous economic growth. And you can grow by producing the same with less factory input, or by producing more using the same input. And that's quantitative growth. But at the same time, we also innovate to better fit customer needs. That's qualitative growth, in the end enhancing consumer welfare, improving our quality of life. And this is what hopefully politicians care about, and therefore foster innovation to achieve this goal. Finally, there is, if you think again about sustainability, a lot of innovation needing to really increase the productivity of downstream industry by supplying better components and machines in a more social and ecological sustainable way. And as just said, this probably is one of the main drivers of innovation nowadays. Just think about the energy industry. A lot of innovation in the way how we produce, but also distribute and consume energy is driven by the need of society to really produce energy in a more sustainable way. And overall, on a more abstract level, there is perhaps the largest incentive for society to foster innovation, as innovation in the end means the creation of new knowledge. And once new knowledge is created, it can be used by others as well. This sounds very simple, but actually is one of the core drivers of our ecological and economic progress. And this is why society puts an emphasis of innovation in the understanding of not just creating a new consumer product, but of creating new basic knowledge that then can be used by others to put everything on a higher and better level. As in the end, the outcome of innovation is knowledge. So, you saw in this module that it's not the question that we have to innovate, but the main question nowadays is how to innovate in an efficient and effective way.